Alright everyone, we have a major problem in Raid Shadow Legends, and Plarium needs to do something about this, and they need to do something about it now. This is not one of those things that can be put off and delayed indefinitely until who knows when next year. This is something that affects new accounts, and it affects those new accounts' ability to progress. And as a new account, if you're not able to progress and work on your missions, that's a major part of the game. That's a big, point of satisfaction that people feel playing. This is going to cause a lot of people to quit. And obviously, not only is this bad for the community, but it's bad for you as Plarium as well. So what I wanted to do today is actually do my part here and offer my suggestions on things they really need to do. And I want to start off here at the core of the issue, and it really boils down to one thing that is actually causing this major problem. Now, anytime I make constructive videos like this, Plarium has asked me as well as other content creators to not just hammer the negativity, but also to try to provide some suggestions and feedback as well. And I want to say that when I make videos and prepare videos like this, I spend many hours looking up many suggestions by other people in the community as well. And I've not just done this for the arena issue, I've done this for many other issues in the game before. And, taking the hours that I've spent doing this, looking up the dozens, if not hundreds of suggestions, it really feels unfortunate that after doing this, I never feel any of this stuff is actually implemented in the game. So I'll go ahead and do my part, especially considering that you asked me to do this. But I would like to see Plarium actually do your part and implement, even if it's not my suggestions, just do something and implement some suggestions to show that you care for the opinion of the community on helping resolve the issues for the game that a lot of us really would like to actually see do well. We don't like seeing the game in this state. It's not like we take joy from it. We want to see it do well, just like you as the company want to see it do well. So now that I've got that out of the way, let's address the core of the issue here, and it has to do with the way that the game actually handles inactive accounts. Now, this is something that you can actually see here in the help menu for Arena. And if you take a look at what happens to accounts that are inactive, this line of text reads here: players will become unranked if they do not participate in any classic arena offense battles for a 30-day period. So that is problem number one right there, because what that does is that removes accounts from the total listing of teams that you can actually face. And that means that every time that you refresh, there's less total teams out there, and you're facing the active accounts now, who are people who have had more time and effort to actually keep their teams updated and very powerful. A lot of those inactive accounts, they made for actually being able to progress through the arena. It made it more reasonable, especially for newer players, is because generally those people are not going to be maintaining their accounts and keeping up with the meta as much. So it allowed people to actually progress through the arena the way that they did. But now that there are less accounts in total, you don't really have those teams to actually face anymore. That's one issue right there. The second issue is actually the second part of that line of text. And those accounts will start from Bronze 1 when they enter the arena again. And this is a huge problem, because Bronze 1 is where you actually start off in the arena. This is where you are supposed to be as a new player, where you start off. You're really early on in your progress missions, and typically you're going to find the easiest accounts here. But now that you have these people who used to be Gold 3 and Gold 4 players who became inactive, if they ever do end up coming back to the game, even if it's just for a little while, once they get back into the arena, even if they're semi-inactive, right? Like, imagine these people just log in once every while, they're still going to end up being in these low tier brackets. They're going to be low enough to where they don't get back up to Gold 4, but they're not going to play enough in order to actually progress. They're kind of going to be, perpetually in these low tier placements with their very strong teams. So that's the other issue. That combination of two things right there, the way that the game handles inactive accounts, is the root of the problem. So this needs to be removed, fixed, addressed, dealt with, however you want to call it. This needs to change. And a couple of expansions here on what I think that they could do to also make Arena just generally easier and more new player friendly is, first of all, I think that they could really do a lot with the way that you earn points based on the actual general placement that you're in. So, we've got Bronze 1, 2, 3, and 4, but just think of like Bronze, Silver, and Gold, right? We've got three major placement brackets, and then Platinum, which I don't really talk about or count that much because that's only the top 300 players. Very small bracket that very few people watching the video will probably really be in, so it doesn't really take a lot of priority when it comes to videos like this. But bronze, silver, and gold. So bronze obviously is, you know, the newer players, should be the easiest to count. So you've got silver in the middle, and then you've got gold there at the ends. Now, what they could actually do is when you are fighting people, they have a system that determines the amount of points that you win versus the amount of points that you lose. And it's generally based off of your rating versus the rating of the teams that you face. Now, of course, if you beat a team that has a much higher rating than you, you earn a lot of points for a victory. You don't lose as many points for a loss. It works the opposite, though, for teams that have a lower placement, right? You don't earn as many points for a win, but you lose a lot of points for a loss. Now, what they could do here is when it comes to the lower placements, to make it easier for new players to progress, I suggest they completely eliminate any points reduction for losses in bronze. Completely remove it. So if you win 10 and you lose 10, which you would with the way the placements are right now, instead in bronze, you just win 10 and you lose 0. And this is a system that a lot of other games use, especially when it comes to games that have this similar type of, you know, progression model. Like you've got the big bracket, bronze, but then you've got the sub brackets in them. 1, 2, 3, 4, silver, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then gold, 1, 2, 3, 4. And like each general bracket here has their own like rules when it comes to how you progress through, that obviously makes it easier for, you know, the lower versions of it, like bronze and silver. So my suggestion is no points should be lost in bronze. Silver, have it be half as many points as you lose right now. So if you win 10 points for a victory and you lose 10 points for a loss right now, that would be a loss of 0 points in bronze, and now in silver, a loss of 5 points. So half as many as before, and then now that you're in gold, which is the highest of the 3 general placements, now you can go back to that general model that they use right now, which is you win the same proportion of points to the amount that you lose. So if you win 10 points, then you lose 10 points. So, you know, that's just a generalization there. Obviously, it does not have to be perfect, but I think you get the overall idea for the suggestion. And there's tons of other games, Dragon Champions, 7 Deadly Sins, many other gachas that I've played that have PvP systems kind of follow this type of model to make it easier for newer players to be able to progress. So that is one suggestion. Now, another suggestion that I have, and this is I'm taking from another game that I actually play, is when you actually decay through the arena, right? If you actually go to the decay, what's going to happen is you go to the beginning of whatever placement that you're in. So if you're in gold 1, you have 2,299 points, and the arena reset happens, you go to 2,000 points. But very likely right after the reset, somebody's going to attack you, you're going to lose, and you are going to now go down to like, you know, 1,990 points, right? So that would decay you into silver 4. Now, my suggestion is to block the decay of a general placement to another general placement. Like block the decay from silver into bronze, or from gold into silver, but not block it from like gold 2 into gold 1. So you would still be able to decay from gold 2 into gold 1, but you would not be able to decay gold 1 into gold 4. And I understand that this is not something that is going to directly benefit new players right now when it is implemented, because obviously a major problem is newer players just being able to quite simply progress through the arena. However, what it'll do is it'll keep the accounts that are supposed to be in that bracket in that general bracket. So really good accounts that have really good champions that are way past the point of bronze, even if they become inactive and don't play for a very long time, if they do come back to the game, if they've already gotten themselves up to gold, they'll start back at gold 1 instead of all the way back at bronze 1, right? So you kind of keep them separate, but you still allow decay from the 2 to 1, 3 to 2, so on and so forth. So that's another suggestion that I have right there. A lot of other games that I know use this model, and it works pretty well for them. So another big suggestion that I've made, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Plarium already does this, but kind of on the other side of the scale. What I'm suggesting is do it for weak teams instead of strong teams, and that is to add bot teams or fake teams in the lower tier brackets especially. And these are teams that are obviously not going to be full legendary champions like the teams that you see here, and a lot of teams that you'll actually end up seeing in low bronze. Now, like in bronze, for example, you can add a bunch of fake bot teams that have, you know, rare champions, for example. Not even 6-star, no, not in that in bronze. And then maybe in silver, you can add fake teams, less of them, or maybe instead of rare champions, they only use epic champions, but they still don't have legendaries. Kind of tip the balance, if that makes sense, in order to allow those newer players to be able to progress through without having to risk not completing their progress missions. Because that's a major problem, is that the way that Arena is set up, the way that progress missions are set up, and the way that it is right now is you're not even able to get through your progress mission. So they've got to do something in order to, you know, do that. And another suggestion is quite simply going back through and changing the way that the progress missions work and making it so that you can actually get through the progress missions without having to increase your ranking in Arena. But I know that might not be as simple as it sounds. There's a lot of missions in the progress missions that have to do with the Arena, so that would be a very, very big overhaul, and I feel like that is a change that they could make. I don't know if that one in particular would actually end up being the easiest change, even though it might sound like the easiest change. So that's another thing that they could do. Now, this suggestion, absolutely genius, and I did not come up with this. This suggestion I'm actually taking from somebody that I saw on Reddit user G4. I loved it. I absolutely love this suggestion, and I don't think it's a complete suggestion, but I think it could definitely be on to the right start here. And I want to give credit again to G4 on Reddit, and that is make it so that people have to reset their Arena defense team each week after the Arena reset. And, you know, what you could do is, this is just a thought here, is if people don't end up resetting their defense team themselves with their really, really strong champions, maybe you could automatically set it to random champions or something like that to make it so that the pool of champions in the actual teams that you see is not too crazy, especially in those lower placements. But again, this is not a complete idea yet. I still think it needs some tweaking, because we don't want to end up in that same problem where if people don't end up resetting their Arena defense, then they're taken out of the pool, and now you're only left with the absolute strongest teams of the most active players in the game, and you run into the exact same situation that we have right now, except it is a lot worse. So it's a good start, and it uses an existing mechanic that we already have, so it's something that they could probably implement in the game pretty easily, but it definitely needs a little bit more thought into how it would actually help solve the problem that we have right here. So lots of really, really amazing ideas, and this is just a couple of them, some of my own, some of them taken from the community, like G4's idea. And what I wanted to do here at the end is really ask you guys what some of your suggestions for the overall Arena system are. And, you know, we've been really talking about this major issue progressing through the tiers, but Arena in general has just been kind of a broken aspect of the game for a very, very long time. And I know for the longest time there were major problems in the top brackets in Platinum, and people boosting so that they had a score of something like 1,000 points higher than the person right below them. The reason I haven't really talked about that so much is because Platinum Arena doesn't really apply to that many people. It's only the top 300 players in the game. So this is really like a super whale mega endgame issue. But now that the problems of Arena are reaching out to many people playing the game and many new players, this has really become something that needs attention, and it needs it super fast. So let me know what your suggestions are, and I want to ask you guys to post them in the comments, but also if you guys want to help out, go ahead and upvote the suggestions that you guys like the most. It's an easy system that YouTube already has, and that way we'll be able to kind of tell what you guys think are good ideas that I can pass on to Plarium, and the not as good ideas will kind of get filtered, that I won't have to waste time to, you know, pass those along. So use the system that YouTube already has. That's what it was designed for. It would really help out, and I'll do my best here. And once again, Plarium, you know, I'm doing my part here. I'm putting the video out there with the suggestions. You asked me to do it, especially with the criticism videos that we've put out there about the Arena system, but I'm really hoping that you now do your part and acknowledge and implement some of these suggestions to help fix the terribly broken Arena system that we have. So that's going to be a wrap for the video today. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and if you did and you want more videos like this in the future, consider subscribing to the channel. Feel free to leave a quick like as well. It only takes about half a second, so thank you to those of you guys who spend the spare half a second of your life to press a button to help me out. So thank you. And more Raid Shadow Legends videos, guides, tutorials, and all that fun stuff should be popping up on the screen right about now, or in the suggested videos to your right or below. More guides, tutorials, and fun videos videos just like this on the channel, feel free to check them out. But if not, until next time, take care everyone, and this is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.